Hi everyone, my name is Heather and I'm the person behind Happy Puppy Truffles. Today I thought we'd do a project that kind of starts our celebration of Himatsuri, which is the 3rd of March, which is a doll festival. And I thought we'd do the traditional Hina doll, boy and girl, and kind of arrange them on a Shikishi. But today I thought we'd use a smaller Shikishi. Now there's the usual size that I've been showing you guys before, but then there's also ones that are in different sizes. There's some that are really long in kind of like a big long nameplate almost. And then this particular size here is a little tinier. It's probably almost a fourth of the size of a regular Shikishi that we've been doing before. These just work so great for these kinds of displays because if you don't want to do a lot of other things, you can just do a couple pieces and have it look really nice and balanced. I'm going to actually have mine go long ways just because with the two sitting next to each other, I thought it'd look nice going this way. Usually you do tend to keep the Shikishi in this kind of a shape, but I'm just going to kind of play around with it a little to make it a little different. I have this paper that I did the review for a little while ago from the 100 yen store that has these pretty little golden sakura blooms. And I'm just going to go ahead and kind of find out how big it needs to be so that I can put it onto this board. So I'll just put some glue on the back of this paper and get it on here. And, you know, of course, you could use a larger Shikishi, you could use larger paper and get a good balance from that if you wanted to. But I'm just going to use these smaller ones just to have something different for this time around. But we'll get this on here really quick. So we get a nice little board then to put our dolls on. Now I've already made my Hina girl, and this is just the traditional Hina doll, but I'm made some changes so that you could get a nice little face and hair that's the right color. If you've made this Hina doll before, you'll know that the entire piece winds up being the color of the paper. So you wind up having, you know, a Hina doll that has this pretty little fabric colored face and hair, which is kind of weird. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys, it's the same steps for both the Hina boy and the Hina girl, so you shouldn't have any problem applying it to what I've already done here. I'll show you guys how to do these steps of kind of layering up some paper to give yourself some flesh tone for the face and then the hair spot so that you can do the emperor and the empress. So I'll put these guys to the side for a second here. And I'm going to be using this really cool paper that I have here. And it happens to be double-sided, but you're not going to see the other side because I want him to just have the blue for his kind of kimono. And then I have this kind of flesh-colored taunt paper. And then, because I can never find other black paper, this is just regular black origami paper, but it's 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters, and I'm just going to put the creases into this, and then I can go ahead and start the folds for the Hina Emperor. Now, the creases that you need to do for this are just multiple creases that we're going to do. If you just fold both diagonally, both ways, and then horizontally and vertically too, just getting all of these kind of valley creases going from this on the inside. Keep all these first ones as valley creases. And then, and I don't know if it's going to show because of the way I'm doing things, but if you flip it over for a second, and then, so all those creases are mountain creases. We're just going to shift things a second, and I'm going to use the crease that you see here as a guide. What I want to do is I'm going to get that to kind of go and make this crease line up with the big diagonal crease that you see here. So if I kind of just start by doing that, get that lined up, pinch it for a second, make sure the other one lines up too, and then once you've got both of them in place, go ahead and pinch down, creating a new crease that will run right through here. And then I'm just going to kind of repeat that step going the other way too. And we're going to then turn things around and do it the other 2 ways too. So we're just adding these new creases so that we can get all of the angles of the creases that we're going to use in this particular origami. So we'll just get these things lined up And as you do more, there's more places where you can check to make sure you're folding things right. And we will add the creases again later too when we put it all together, but it really helps to kind of get things started with this by getting these creases so that things kind of mesh together a little better. So you can see now I've got that starburst of creases completed, and I'm just going to repeat those steps then on this piece of paper as well so that I can get the creases that I need here. So just start off by putting these creases with that color side facing up so that you can get nice valley creases going through everything. So I'll just finish this one up too, and then we can put these parts together. Now I've got both of those areas. I want the flesh piece underneath and then the hair piece on top. And I'm just going to start off by just putting glue in the top part because I don't want to glue down where I'm going to cut away to reveal the face. So I'm just going to focus on putting some glue up there, getting these pieces to sandwich together. And, you know, of course, if you've done the creasing right, they should line up right, and you should have the creases going the same way. And then, like I said, I've got this piece. Essentially what you're looking at is this one little tiny kite area. That's going to be the part that is going to be present for the head. And I don't really want very much up here because, as you can see with the completed one, we're really only looking at a tiny little bit at the very top that's going to show. So it helps to kind of maybe use a pencil to sort of color this in. And like I said, the part where we're really going down to is like about 0.5 centimeters. And that usually tends to work pretty good. So you can kind of look at your piece here and maybe just mark it with a pencil so that you know how far you're going. And again, it's just that first kite's place right across if you're looking at it like a diamond here. Now I'm also just going to cut, not from that diamond, but the next one over, just so that I can make sure I don't have any extra sticking out weird when I fold things up at the end. So basically, we'll be cutting here from here. And if it's a girl, you're going to be doing a little tiny scalloped kind of hair if you can. But for the guy, it's pretty much just a straight across the board thing so that you can get his little peaked head there. Just a fine little piece of tiny little bit there that you can see, just so we get a little hint of his hair there. And if you want to, you could put a little bit of glue here on the remaining parts just to keep things tacked down. Or, you know, you cannot really worry about it too much because it'll probably all come together pretty good when you put it together. But I've got that part completed, and I'm just going to go ahead and start folding my emperor or empress. And when I get to a particular stage here, then I'm going to add the hair bit so that you can see that. So I'll show you guys again the basic folds. Now the emperor and empress are almost exactly the same, almost through the entire origami, and they just change up a little bit right at the end. So I'll show you guys how to do this. And if you need to if you want a review of how to make them, you can look at the video of just how to make an emperor and empress. But I'm just going to show you guys here how to fold this so that we can add that bit of the flesh tone for the hair and for the face and then the hair. I've got these things folded in half and in half again, and then with the parts that are flaps open on the side, I'm just going to fold that down too, so that I wind up getting a triangle with a nice center line. Then I want to take this top edge here and roll it down because I want to try to find where my center is of everything here. So I'm just going to make a good crease. It's a lot of paper, and if you're using fancy paper, it can get pretty hard to do, but you want to do both ways so that you can get the crease going here. And we're going to use that with the next set. And I know it's hard to see, but I have my center crease, and then I have the point where those crisscrosses match. That little center point, right starting on this line, is where I want to cut up to. This origami does use scissors, and it is traditional, so that means it's old, which means that, yes, you do use scissors in origami. Maybe knives back then, right? So we open this up, and in my case, it's this red side. It might be white for you. We're just going to take all of these little areas that we've folded in, and I'm just going to fold them in now. And you should just get them folded in nicely right to the part where we cut to. Just get all these guys folded in. And if any of them seem a little off, you could try to adjust them, but you want to get something that kind of looks like this. Now I want these big long creases that go right through to the tips of everything. I want to make this all a mountain crease both ways so that I've got everything going the right way here. And then I want the other creases that go right through these points to be valleys. So we're going to fold everything in half. And you can kind of adjust things if you need to here, but we want to make sure that that crease is really clear. Now this is the part where we're going to go ahead and glue on the face and hair section. So I've got it looking like a little star here, and I'm just going to put this right in the center so that I can get... In this case, you really want to put, a fair amount of glue here. You want to get all the way to the edges. That'll help make things go a little smoother. And then we'll put the creases through to just reiterate where everything is. But you do want to try to center it up with what you've got. Once you've gotten it down, then you can go ahead and just crease things right there. So we've got the diagonal creases as valleys, and then these creases, the shorter creases, as mountain creases. So we get something like this. Now I'm just going to go ahead and collapse all this down, and you do want to try, of course, to shoot for having the part that's got the face on it facing up like so. And then I'm going to do a crease here where I take everything and fold towards the center. Guide things along where you've got your hair and your face to make sure nothing gets folded weird. Get that first part completed. We'll push it towards the center, and we're just going to open this up here, this pocket. And this can be tricky because you do have the extra part we added now for the face. Make sure things get tucked under when you do this. And then smooth it out. Push it back over here. And then we're going to do the same thing on this side too. You just really want to make sure, of course, that you're getting everything tucked away right when you do this. Helps to maybe have nails or you to use like a toothpick when you do this, just to make sure you're getting things pinched and shifted down the way they need to be. When you're done, you should have what's going to be the top of the head there. And then I could just flip things over. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. There should be creases already from the creases we've made for the hair and the face area. But you can make sure you get the crease for the rest of it going. And then just fold and pop these areas out too. It's just a little squash fold to get that all squashed down. And I'll do the other side too here. Now when you look at things, you should have the part that's the face, and I'm just going to go ahead and fold over one layer of this. Make sure that that top part gets folded over if you need to. And I'm going to take this first little flap that you see here now. We're going to fold it up to the creased edges that you've got there. Try to get as close to that as you can. And then we're going to just reverse everything and push it up so that you can get this part to become a mountain crease. And I need to just watch my parts here to make sure that that comes together right. And then I'm going to take this part here and fold up straight to the center. And when I do, this is going to need to kind of open and just shift down a tiny bit. You can see how it's just not quite even with that edge, and that means you've got that part folded down right. Then I'm going to take my layer again and fold it back over so I can see where my face is. Take that part and then fold it to the right, and now do the same kind of crease on this little flap that you see here. Get that part reversed and tucked inside, and then again just take that first layer, fold it towards the center, let this part pop open when you do that, and then recrease it, making a new crease there that's just a little shimmied down from where that edge is. And now go ahead and open up to see where the face is here. Now I'm going to take everything that you see here and pull it straight up, and you can kind of make sure everything is straight by following all those center creases to make sure everything's going the way it needs to. Then take that part and fold it straight down to where we just folded up from. Make a good crease. Take everything here and fold it in half, pinch it like this for just a second, and I'm going to cut right on that crease I just made. Now I'm not going to cut all the way through, I want to cut just a little farther than halfway. This is going to create a little pocket where I'm going to slide the head through. So I've got that little crease made there, and I can just take this part and try to tuck it through. And because you've got the extra stuff going there now with the head and the face, it is a little harder to tuck under, so just do it gently so you don't accidentally tear your paper. You should get something like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and take this bottom part and fold it up so that I get it even with these bottom parts down here. Get a good little crease there. And tuck it on inside. And this part's where it's a little different for the Empress than it is for the Emperor, so you want to make sure to look at those tips just to make sure you're doing that part just a little differently. And then I'm going to take these arms and we're just going to tuck them. You notice right in here there's a little pocket. I'm going to just tuck it right in there. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side too. And you can kind of try to get it so that it's going even with this edge a little. And find a part where you're giving yourself a little bit of an edge. Smooth things out. Do the same thing over here too. Try to get them even if you can. And that should give you the completed little Emperor. And like I said, it's pretty similar for the Empress. You'll want to just look at those videos to make sure you're getting that part right. But in the end, I've got my Emperor and the Empress. The Empress always goes on the right, so you want to make sure to keep that clear. But I'm going to put these two here, and then you want to put, I'm just going to put a little strip of paper down here so that I can mark off kind of like where they sit. And there is this special like kind of striped paper that's really common for this. But when you have the doll set, sorry this is loud, they sit on top of kind of like a lacquered, like raised piece. So I'm just going to use some of this paper that I have that's this really cute black with little bits of flower in it. And I was just going to use this one that's got these little wavy lines in it just to kind of cut a small thin strip. And you really don't want it to be that thick. Probably like just, let's see here, maybe just a centimeter or maybe just 1.5 centimeters is what I'll probably shoot for here. So I'll just kind of cut that. Get it started and measure it down. And I mean, my paper is 15 centimeters. It's going to be too long for this piece, of course. So I'm just going to first cut this here and then see how long will fit. If you're doing a different kind of setup, this 15 centimeters might just be perfect. It kind of just depends what you're working with here. But I'm just going to go ahead and try to keep it so that it's, you know, just a little bit shy of the edges. So you can kind of just eyeball that a little. Make sure it's straight, of course, when you trim it off. And then I'm going to go ahead and take and first start off by putting that little, you know, you can kind of put these guys here and see how much room you have. But I'm going to first just start by putting my black piece of strip of paper down first, because I'd like my dolls to kind of rest on top of that if I can. So I'll go ahead and slide to this here. Try to find a good spacing for that. Keep it as straight, of course, as you can. And then I'll just go ahead from here and put some glue on the back of this doll. And I'm not going to press down too hard yet because I want to get both of these guys with a little bit of glue so that I can still give myself a little breathing room to shift if I want to adjust stuff. But get the glue on there first. And then we can kind of play around with where they are. You want to keep them at the same level if you can. But that should give you these cute little completed Hina dolls, which are our finished project for today. And I'll have some more fun things to help celebrate Himatsuri in the days to come. Thank you again always so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!